charge? Are they here? Who's missing?
Khalil,
Okay.
Tafi? Yeah, okay, cool.
Where's Denise?
Where are the heroes?
Where's Angelica?
Jose.
Angie, it's up to you. We just want to fill you in. You guys let us know what you want us to do.
Jose.
Yeah, right.
Augustine.
Luis. Augustine.
All right, cool. We just want to make sure because you're the most important people to hear this. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to start with a self-criticism. I apologize
Mark?
for being late today. And I just, I'm getting older, and I get up in the morning, and sometimes I have this blood clot that I got to take exercises for.
No, I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to, just an FYI, if you didn't have counsel that was volunteering to do this, you guys would be waiting here till 3, 4 p.m. anyway. So the fact that you're getting here at 11 or even at 12 is still a privilege. So
I'm glad I'm here, but I just want to say, having been an activist and having been a lawyer, it's you guys are the ones, you're more important than Bill Kunstler or me or anything, because you're the guys who are making change. If there's going to be a revolution, it's not going to be lawyers who are going to make it. I used to live by the rule of Robin Hood. Now I live by the rules of professional responsibility. They're different. My point is to you, what's happening is several things happened in court today in Tafi and Khalil's case. We're on what's called a motion schedule. That means we have to come back to court on March 11th, and we're going to before that time, we're going to make a motion to try to dismiss some of the charges, and we're going to try to make a reply. So this is like the initial beginning stages of what's going to be a long, protracted legal struggle. Now, the subtext of what's going on is, which makes this case a little bit unusual, is that there's been no offer. Now, normally in a normal criminal case where someone is charged with obstructing government process, something like this, you would expect at this stage in the proceedings there would be an offer to reduce the charges to a violation or an ACD or something like that. What it appears is going on right now is the district attorney has said today that they still need time to investigate Tafi and Khalil's case. I have no idea what that, just think about that. You all have seen the videotapes on YouTube. Everybody knows every move that these two young men made, on those videotapes. There's no need to investigate. What the investigation really is about is they really want to watch to see what kind of a political movement develops on campus, and to see what and they really want to make sure that people like Tafi and Khalil and the Six are not going to are not going to be stepping out in the political movement, and they're going to make their decision on what kind of an offer to make based upon that. So that's not right, but that is what it is. So the thing is, you have to do what you decide you need to do, your political priorities, but you also need to protect each other, stand in solidarity with each other, and and to understand that you have touched a real nerve. In my opinion, the prosecution of Tafi and Khalil would not have happened if it wasn't for CUNY pushing it. I don't believe this prosecution came spontaneously out of Cyrus Vance's office. I believe it, I believe it was a result of the fact that they were going to contest the disciplinary charges against them, and CUNY wants, and CUNY is pushing very, very hard on, to make this prosecution. So, so there are political agendas at work here, and the point is you have to develop your political agendas. At the end of the day, it's not going to be lawyers who liberate you. It's not going to be the courts. It's going to be the forum. The forum is the people, and the liberators are yourselves. And we're just here to do the best we can to try to make this system, do what the system should be doing, but it doesn't do. So I think, so I spent a lot of time talking about the two. Now we should have Lamas talk about the six.
Okay, so maybe
you can talk 3 times as long.
No, I won't do that at all. We're allowed us under attack too, so we've got deadlines today, so we've got to get back to the office. But so I'll pick up maybe a little bit where Ron left off, and maybe skew the, just to add a different kind of perspective. My experience has been that when they are in the process of investigation, yes, I'm sure they're looking to see whether this group is going to continue to be politically active, right? I think, however, that by the time it gets here, the question of political activity is really the type of political activity. If the political activity increases to support risk and increases to support this case, I think that you will get a better offer than we're getting right now, because we're not getting any real offers, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I think that building a political movement will benefit everybody's case. Building a movement that's really committed to, having this case be resolved in favor of the defendants is also important. That's historically, not just in my experience, historically that's always been the case. Judges are people. Judges respond to other people. Judges need encouragement, and it happens. Trust me, I've seen it work. So we need a strong movement around these cases, and we need a strong movement on campus. The question then becomes, what type of activities are they going to see from the individual defendants? What's getting posted places? How are people responding? And what are you saying? Without a doubt, all the people charged really need to not talk about the case. I want to bring that up again. Need to be cautious about what they're posting on Facebook as it would relate to the case. For example, if you've been involved in prior protest activities, anything that's happened, you don't need to, have the photographs or anything that is revolutionary. And we've all engaged in it, and I can tell, but in the age of Facebook, we didn't have social media like you guys do. In the age of Facebook, it takes on a whole other flavor. So we got to be cautious about that, okay? So building political movements is going to, in my opinion, is going to be great for the case. Building a movement that really supports this with real pressure, and we'll talk about what real pressure means in terms of letters and mobilizing and rallies. Lynn Stewart, for example, that wasn't the warden that got her out. That was a movement that got her out, and it was an international movement that got her out, right? It was a lot of pressure. I had another client, same thing. He was doing 36 years in a hole in AdMax. It was people pressure that got these people out, right? So we have to remember that. So this, the movement around this case is important. Talking about the details, we've been fast-tracked like crazy, right? Now, it's true. I think in any other case, when it's an obstruction and disorderly conduct, we would have gotten a much better offer. Some of the charges would have been reduced. There's duplicative, there's overcharging, right? That has not happened in the case of the 6, right? And there's a reason for that. They're trying to send a message to you personally and to the movement generally, right? So the offer has remained with, a plea to the top charge and time served, right? At this point, we're declining that offer. The judge has made a decision on all of our motions, which is going to really also tell us what they're going to do with, the 2's motions, which is that she's denied all of our applications to dismiss some of the complaints which have real legal holes in them. There are major factual insufficiencies, as they're called, but there are real holes in the complaints and what the government has presented to us. Yet, all of our motions to dismiss were denied. So you can probably expect the same thing, right? What was granted was, several hearings. We had requested several hearings for Luis's case, a Dunaway and Huntley hearing regarding statements, regarding identity. So we're going to have those hearings, but those have been, lumped to the trial. The other thing that the judge did today is, scheduled for trial. Cool, right? And asked us for a date. We initially asked for March. She said, well, that's excludable time. I said, why? She says, well, they need time to prepare. So they, with unlimited resources, need time to prepare. And we, the 6 of us who are operating on a shoestring, don't need time to prepare. So if it's excludable time, that doesn't go towards 30/30. They haven't filed a statement of readiness yet, so we asked for February 18th, which is why we've been fast-tracked. So now the government is not going to be ready. We're not going to be ready, right? But the government is not going to be ready. So now it's a game of chicken, right? Which is why I don't care who's not going to be here, whatever. They're not going to be ready. So we're not going to let them know who's not here, who's here, right? Nonetheless, we have to really get mobilized and start getting ready, which means that we're going to have more meetings with you. There are discovery issues. We made plenty of Brady bill of particulars. We haven't gotten an iota of evidence. There's nothing in the voluntary disclosure. Zero. We've gotten no evidence from them whatsoever. Yet we're on the trial track. So let's see how ready they are. So that's where we're at. We have letters to do. We have more intake to do with you guys. We got to start organizing our evidence, and we got to start figuring out who can and who can't testify. And then we're on again February 18th. On you is to continue really mobilizing around this case, right? And building grassroots support for risk generally, right? And thinking long term, big picture, what does this mean? And that's it for me, and then we'll see you guys soon. for the 6 at the office, well, the 8 at the office.
Yeah, I just want to underscore one thing that Lemess said, which is, you really got to remember that you're dealing with CUNY Telpro, and that there are CUNY, intelligence specialists in the CUNY peace offices who are working full-time, going on to Facebook, checking out all of your, like all of your leaflets, everything on the internet, Googling you, and so forth. So, I know you got to use Facebook to communicate, you got to build your movement, but understand whatever goes on to Facebook, whatever goes into your emails, assume that CUNY is seeing it. In my generation, we used to have to learn how to be careful on the phone. You're gonna have to apply the kind of intelligence we apply to the telephone, to the internet, and it hurts me to see so many students who are sometimes so careful about what you say on the phone, and then you post anything on Facebook, and but please understand, that that the CUNY authorities see you as the equivalent of Al Qaeda. This is like a law enforcement agency, the CUNY peace officers, that have no real law enforcement mission other than dealing with you. And so like, so be aware of what's going on around you.
So can I just to explain a little bit about that, because I think that maybe it was our fault for not explaining what you can and can't post. So what the government can do is introduce during the course of a trial prior bad acts, right? And they have to be related to what you're being charged with. In light of the fact that many of you have like 10, 12 different charges, there are a lot of prior bad acts that relate to those charges that can be introduced, right? So a prior bad act can be anything from you pushing somebody to you doing that's the parameter, and it's a really wide parameter if you think about it, right? Prior bad acts. What does that mean? We have hearings on these matters, but just as the judge today, this is all boilerplate. Judges really, unfortunately have become, tools of the DA's office unless they feel the pressure, right? But so they'll just, okay, yes, it's related, and yes, it's, okay, you don't get to exclude it. It gets introduced. So prior bad acts is a really wide thing, and then it limits your ability to testify, right? It limits our ability to bring in information, to bring in evidence, and information and evidence is your defense. So it's very important that everybody's cautious about what goes up about themselves and about others on their pages, what's being said, please.
So what do the students have to say? Because you guys are the movement. Who wants to say something? You tongue-tied, guys?
It's cold.
Yeah, it's
cold. What I do want to say, I'm happy that we have so much support. I'm happy so many people, right? Of course, thanking the lawyers, the me's, Ron, and Mark. Thanking, right, students from all over CUNY, the CUNY community, professors, and especially people from the community. This is very important, right? At the end of the day, political power comes from the power of the people, organized, to confront the system and the oppressors. I think we must understand that what is going on today, right? We must understand that the reason we're being prosecuted, right? The reason we're under the light is because of the state. Because of the state. The state has a legitimate monopoly over violence. What is the legitimate monopoly over violence? This is simple. When anytime somebody from the community, right, for better or for worse, acts upon against the state, it's a tragedy. Every time a police officer or any of their kind are injured or whatever it may be, it's a tragedy. Anytime the police likewise kill any black or brown person or injure them or whatever, it's always, well, they were wearing this, they were walking like that. So we must understand that the parameters of legality are always going to be against us because they're not for us. The contours of the bourgeois legal system are here to persecute us. It's been this way since the beginning of the U.S.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fareed. That was great. Sure. And I'd prefer that, people who are charged not speak, so maybe somebody else from Risk also.
I just want to say, thank you everybody for coming out. My parents are here, my comrades, professors whose class I've taken, whose class I haven't taken yet. I think it's going to be very important for people to keep coming out to these events and more events, not just to support those of us who are charged, but also because we represent an actual political movement with importance in CUNY and in New York City. We're representing not just ourselves, but people who are being kicked out of their homes because they can't afford to pay the rents anymore because the landlords are raising the rent while people are being kicked out of their city. We're representing children in high schools whose schools are being closed because that is the political move that City Hall is making. We're representing CUNY students who are being systematically pushed out of their university. We're representing all oppressed and exploited people. And that's the importance of building this political movement. Not just to support people who are charged, but to support the people that we're fighting for. So we have to build a movement in CUNY, and that has to take hold throughout the rest of the city. We have to expand to labor, we have to expand to housing, everywhere. And that's going to require cooperation between all the different groups that are here. So RISC is going to be focused on this throughout the rest of this semester, throughout the rest of the time that we have left in college. And I look forward to working with everyone, seeing you at the future court dates, and building a movement with everybody.
You're exhausted.
It's not that.
Are you New York one, by the way?
The station won't be using this sort of rhetoric.
No, they
it's just so broad and not speaking.
So
to
you'd
the,
have a lot
not
of
speaking
edits.
to the matter at hand.
Well, the attorneys can speak to the matter at hand. You've
Yeah.
got Ron, Mark, and myself.
Yeah.
But the people who are charged, of course, can't.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming in.
yeah, thanks for coming out.
I didn't have any choice.
We appreciate it.
We'll take that as a you're welcome. So if you have any questions about the cases, definitely the lawyers can answer that for you. Yeah. All right. So on that note,
Alice has something to say.
oh,
Let's get some more women speakers on.
I want to start with a chant. CUNY for the people!
CUNY for the people!
CUNY for the people!
CUNY for the people!
City College is Harlem University!
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 We are here today in support of the CUNY 6 and Taffy and Khalil.
CUNY 8.
We are here because we are taking the future of CUNY in our hands.
Yes.
The two sides of this struggle has been clear. We want a CUNY that serves the people of New York City. They, the present CUNY University system, wants a CUNY that serves the capitalist imperialist system. CUNY haggled and begged Petraeus to teach and to produce lackey policymakers among people in our communities. The working class is firmly opposed to this. The working class is firmly opposed to Petraeus teaching in CUNY. It wants a CUNY open to all proletarian people. It wants a CUNY where students learn to serve the people, to become revolutionaries who return to their neighborhoods, to uplift our class through militant struggle. CUNY welcomed ROTC back to recruit more oppressed nationality people from our communities. This was part of a national strategy to recruit proletarian youth to join the ranks of the imperialist war machine. The working class is also firmly opposed to this. It wants to fight and defend itself from its class enemies. When we fought against these imposed measures, CUNY responded by taking away the only thing that links students together with our communities, the Guillermo Morales Asada Shakur Community Center at City College. The working class is firmly opposed to this. It's firmly opposed to the backhanded seizure of the Morales Shakur Center. It wants a revolutionary community center on every single CUNY campus. Every single one. Why is CUNY doing all this? Because they want to change the class character of CUNY. This is happening because CUNY is excluding proletarian people of New York City from attending the only institution that they can ever hope to attend. This is happening because CUNY is taking in top graduating students in and outside of New York City and trying to make Colin Powells out of them. As if being the first Jamaican man to serve as the Secretary of State is something to be proud of. It's nothing to be proud of.
Word.
CUNY is trying to pick off a section of our people in our communities and train them to serve imperialism, a system that continues to dominate the oppressed countries abroad and the proletarian communities here. This is the new problem that we are facing today. CUNY, just like the electoral system in New York City, is trying to use people that look like us. They're trying to use people that look like us, like Colin Powell, like de Blasio's son, to create illusions about the system. And we're not going to be fooled.
No.
Let me be clear about this. As long as this current system exists, as long as the U.S. expressive conduct policy. They can suspend my comrades and kick them out of school. They can send the NYPD after us and hunt us like animals, like they do every day in our communities. They can stockpile weapons, hollow point bullets, shotgun ammunition, Glock automatic pistols with night sights, body armor, riot helmets, pepper spray dispensers. All these weapons that the NYPD doesn't have, they want to use this to intimidate us. But where is our power to rule over them? Where is it? Where is our power to embarrass and kick out reactionary teachers? Where is our power to expel racist school administrators? Where is our power to stop and frisk a cop? Where is our power to put our bosses in their place?
Yeah.
Where is it? The power, our power, lies in the destruction of a system. Our power lies in the destruction of a system and the construction of a new one. To do that, we must unite and seize our power. Unite and seize our power.
Unite and seize our power.
Unite and seize our power.
Unite and seize our power.